Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to share with you the mindset that I would take if I was starting Medical Medium today. All of these things are based on what I've learned over the last 3 years of using Medical Medium, a protocol which has helped me recover from chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, hypothyroid and irritable bowel syndrome. If you're new here, hi, I'm Rachel, emotional health coach, and this channel is all about how you can harness the mind-body connection and emotional healing in your recovery from chronic illness. So keep watching if you want to avoid the overwhelm and the stress that I did when I first started the Medical Medium protocol. So I'd been a whole foods plant-based vegan before I started Medical Medium, and I was eating a lot of beans and a lot of grains and not a great deal of fruit. My blood sugar was all over the place, and actually going raw when I first started Medical Medium was not a particularly good idea. And I've got to say I was quite tempted. And I was really convinced if I didn't go fully raw that I wasn't going to heal. And there's a lot of buzz out there around the Medical Medium community around going fully raw and how it's important for your healing. And fully raw is a great way to eat. But if you're like me and you came from a history of blood sugar issues, starting raw is probably not the best place to start. The other thing is if you came from a SAD diet, going fully raw immediately might be too stressful for you. And you've got to think about how you're going to stay on this protocol, because starting something quite extreme may not be the best way to keep you on it longer term, which is what you need for recovery. So to get the fruits and vegetables into my diet, I had to start really slowly. Added in celery juice and also cucumber juice, and then I just slowly but surely introduced more and more raw food. And I've been on Medical Medium now for over 3 years, and I still have only had a few raw days, but I managed to heal without going fully raw. Some people can eat more raw to start with, others have to take our time, and I was one of those people. And really I think with Medical Medium the aim of the game is really to get more and more nutrient rich foods in, and just to take your time doing that in a way that feels comfortable for you. Because if you're having massive blood sugar crashes and really sort of like unable to stay on the protocol, keep having cheat days and things like that, that's not really what's going to get you to the finish line. So take it at your pace, because your body responds better to more gentle and incremental improvements than one big sort of rush to be raw. So it's very easy when you're starting a protocol like Medical Medium to feel like you're in the kitchen all the time, and that getting the food right is all you need to do. At one point I felt like I'd permanently relocated to my kitchen, and I spent so long prepping food all the time, and I didn't prioritize rest or doing any emotional work. I felt like I had to be in the kitchen and that the food was the priority. And I didn't realize that I needed the rest and the emotional work to really supercharge the effects of the great food, the supplements and the herbs. Because I was an anxious, angry and desperate person. I had been sick a long time, and when I came to Medical Medium, I really thought that this was all I needed to do. So just focusing on nutrition in my recovery was a bit like trying to grow flowers in a garbage dump. I could try to grow the flowers, but there was rubbish everywhere stopping them from taking root and thriving. So things like living in fear of the future, hating ourselves, frustration with our bodies, frustration and anger with other people around us, and grief about the life that we lost, it's not really a great foundation for healing. And I understand why I felt that way, because we're taught that healing is really about food and medicine. The effects of trauma and long-term stress are not talked about quite as much. And yet these things impact our healing by putting unnecessary stress on our bodies, keeping us in fight, flight or freeze, and suppressing our immune system. So by doing some emotional work, I created that foundation where the wonderful supplements and the healing foods could really start to have an impact and allow that garden to grow. Often during recovery, we can have a less than great relationship with our bodies. And with that in mind, I've created an EFT body love meditation for you guys. It's got binaural beats, it's lovely and relaxing, and it'll help you start to cultivate a kind and compassionate relationship with your body. Learn to talk to your body in a loving and caring way. And if that's interesting to you, go and grab your copy. I've put the link in the description. So one of the things that I had to learn really early on when I started Medical Medium was that I wasn't going to be able to buy everything that he suggests. I'd already overhauled my home for toxins. I'd already bought myself a fancy water filter and shower filter. And yet I'm looking on Facebook in the groups and everybody's buying ceramic pans and those living libations, tooth powders at 30 quid a pop. And I realised that there was no way I was going to be able to do everything. And I remember a time when Vimiji barley grass juice powder you could only buy on eBay in the UK. And it costs about £160. And I was on a cleanse and I was buying some other barley grass juice powder at the time. And I remember the person who was running the cleanse basically said that the others were rubbish and that I had to buy that because that was the thing that was going to help me heal. And I became convinced that because I couldn't afford to spend 160 quid on barley grass juice powder, that I wasn't going to get better. And after a while, I realised that people heal all over the world without barley grass juice powder. Before Medical Medium came along, people would heal themselves with raw diets, for example, or whole food diets. And that I needed to actually just calm down. So I still don't have ceramic pots or a fancy air filter. And for the first year of Medical Medium, I used my blender and a nut milk bag. And yet I still healed. And so what I'd say is just prioritize what's important for you. Everybody's needs are different. For example, for me, I realized that when I get out of the bath in the evening, I used to feel incredibly drained. And that was because the bath water was obviously full of things that my body didn't like. So I bought a bath water filter. And just know that you can build on these things in time. We often go into protocols being very black and white and very all or nothing. And that's not really how this works. And I mentioned this one a little bit earlier, but rest is so important. And doing a protocol like Medical Medium can make us kind of feel like rest is a secondary thing to doing everything. Because there does feel like a lot of pressure to do everything perfectly. So while I was spending all my time in the kitchen chopping and juicing, I wasn't really giving myself much time to rest. And actually rest became one of those inconveniences because I had all this other stuff that I was supposed to do if I wanted to heal. And yet I was really making a big mistake because rest is one of the most important things to enable our body to repair and renew. Just relaxing, deep breathing, meditation, watching even some comedy, reading a book, or just doing nothing or being outside. These things are important. So one of the things that I needed to learn after starting Medical Medium, and it took me quite some time, probably the first year, I really had to learn to pare everything down and let go of some of the perfection so that I could relax and rest. And doing that was incredibly helpful. And that really brings me on to the next thing. I mean, forget about perfection. There is so many things that you can do with Medical Medium. So much juicing, so many greens you can eat, so many healing foods to get in, and loads of herbs and wild food. You could just go on and on. And it's interesting how 16 ounces of celery juice all of a sudden becomes 32 ounces of celery juice. And you start to feel like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing it perfectly enough. And there's a lot of pressure out there to do everything perfectly. I've seen how people talk in the groups. And I've seen people become so exhausted trying to do everything perfectly, or actually giving up on the protocol completely. And that really isn't the best way to get medical medium to work for you. So if you're starting today wondering how you're going to get it all done and how you're going to do all of the things in the protocol, don't worry, just start and know that some things will be a compromise. There are some countries where people can't even get celery, and it doesn't matter. During lockdown, I drank cucumber juice because that was the only thing I could get my hands on at a decent price. So just know that really it's a compounding effect of lots of little things that make the difference, and missing out on one of them isn't going to stop you from healing. If you can only afford 16 ounces of celery juice, do that. If you can't afford all organic, just buy the most heavily sprayed things in organic and peel what isn't organic. Just stick with the basic supplements to start with and just do what you can, because the less stressed and anxious you are about medical medium, the more effective it's going to be at helping you heal. So I've always been an independent soul. And one of the things that I really had to get into a new mindset with, thinking that medical medium was quite a DIY protocol, was that actually I probably needed a little bit of help. So I went after the first 12 months and got some help to do the supplements. And it seems like an expensive thing to do, but actually it stopped me buying supplements that weren't actually suitable for what I was trying to heal from. I really didn't know what supplements to buy, and there's so many for every single condition. So I'd buy things, I wouldn't take them properly, I wouldn't take enough of them, and so I was just basically throwing my money in the toilet, because that's kind of where it would end up. If I was starting today, I would definitely straight up get a practitioner to help me with my supplements. None of this guessing or DIY stuff. A good practitioner can help you prioritize the supplements that you buy, work within your budget, and also take into account your lifestyle so that you really get the most out of the protocol. And I say the same thing about emotional health. We can spend a lot of time trying to work it out ourselves, and I certainly did, but a practitioner can point you into the right direction so that you're not spending a lot of time working on the wrong things. Often we can't see our own emotional problems. We need another set of eyes to help us do that. So where are you struggling doing medical medium? I'd really love to know. And if you've managed to overcome some of your struggles with medical medium, also please share those in the comments, because other people get the benefit of your knowledge and wisdom. If you're interested in how I use medical medium in my health recovery, check out these 2 videos. And if you want to know more about how you can harness the mind-body connection and emotional healing to help speed up your recovery, get in touch with me. I've put the details in the description. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.